Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. In this video, let's talk about how stories are estimated in extreme programming. So just like Scrum, extreme programming is this another way you can deliver projects in an agile environment. And we have covered a lot of concepts of extreme programming. Check out the first link in the description below, which will take you to an entire playlist of all the videos that we have done so far covering extreme programming topics. You should know extreme programming if you are preparing for your PMI ACP certification or if you are working in an extreme programming environment. You should know all of this, right? So how are stories estimated in extreme programming? It has stories just like Scrum. So, do you use the same methods that you use in Scrum for estimating stories in extreme programming as well? That is absolutely correct. Do you remember planning poker? And we have done a comprehensive video of planning poker in the past. I'll share a link to that video in the description below. It will be the second link. But for the benefit of everyone watching this video, I'll quickly cover the 6 steps that are required for the Scrum team to perform in order to do estimation of stories, right? And this is Scrum environment. This is something that even the extreme programming teams do. So they do use planning poker for estimating their stories as well. But the extreme programming teams, they also use another method known as planning game. So that is something that we will cover right after we go over a brief understanding of what planning poker really is. So it essentially has 6 steps. The first step is basically to give a deck of cards with valid estimation numbers to all the team members. The second step is that Scrum team goes over each story in the sprint backlog in order of the priority. Now remember, what's happening here is essentially the Scrum team members are sitting in the same room. There is a Scrum master who is hosting this entire event of planning poker, and the Scrum master, he or she has given a deck of cards that contain numbers, and these numbers are estimates for each of the stories. So the team is now going over the sprint backlog in the order of priority, and the team members are assigning a value from that deck of card to each of the stories. So each Scrum team members, they assign a story point value by choosing a deck of card, right? They can be using some sort of software or some other scale. It totally depends on the team and how it works out best for them. So in step 4, if there is a large difference between the estimates, right? If there's a wide margin of difference, the Scrum team member that assigned the highest value and the Scrum team member that assigned the lowest value, they explain their estimates. Now, this is important because based on this, team will have a better understanding of the story, team will have a better understanding of the efforts required. Now, in step 5, the Scrum team members, they've explained their estimates in the previous step. And now in step 5, the team gets another chance to choose an estimation card. And in step 6, it is very likely that the team is going to converge to a narrow range of story points estimate. Now, if required, it is possible that all these 6 steps are repeated once again so that there is a unanimous decision on the story point estimate. So that is also possible when it comes to planning poker. Now, obviously, this is very, very effective because it is collaborative. So definitely check out the entire video that we have done in the past, the second link in the description if you want to know more about planning poker estimation. But this is something that extreme programming teams also use. So it is commonly used by XP teams. In fact, most of the XP teams out there are using planning poker. But there is another method which is also popular, and that is known as planning game. Now, this was a very popular practice when extreme programming was in its infancy. So, a lot of teams used planning game in the earlier days. But how does this actually work? Because we know today teams use planning poker. Some of the teams you might still find that use planning games. So, how does this work? First of all, stories are decomposed into tasks. Secondly, tasks are assigned to the extreme programming team members. So each team member has certain number of tasks. Now, team members, they are going to provide feedback about the task estimates. So we are not looking at entire stories. What we are looking at here are individual tasks that are assigned to the extreme programming team members. Now, based on their feedback, the tasks are included in the iteration plan, because extreme programming has an iteration plan too, right? So based on whatever feedback the team members have, the tasks are included in the iteration. So this is how the planning game works. Finally, you need to remember that estimation, the entire concept of estimation itself, is a skill, and the team is going to get better at it with time. As they do more estimations in more iterations, they are going to get better at estimation. So you have to be patient with the team if they are new, right? If you have a new team, you have to be patient in terms of what the estimates are and how accurate they really are. But here's a question for you before I let you go. What other methods have you seen teams use to estimate stories? And this is where it gets very interesting and funny as well sometimes, because sometimes I get to know from some of the scrum masters and agile project managers the kind of methods that they use, and they are very unorthodox, right, to estimate stories. If you have any such stories, let me know in the comments below. I would definitely love to read how your teams are estimating stories. So that's all that we had in this video. Definitely consider subscribing. If you like our work, consider contributing, and don't forget to keep learning. Check out the other two videos that you see on your screen right now. Also, don't forget to check out our website pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP and project management resource. Thank you and have a nice day.